Recently, we discussed the Xbox One's unfortunate state and how the future is not looking all that great. It's important to understand that one of the core reasons why the Xbox One has struggled is because Microsoft attempted making it into something that it could not be. At the beginning of this current console generation, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were neck and neck. The previous generation of the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 finished almost neck and neck, which actually was a massive win for the Xbox team, which was really fueled by amazing console exclusive games and early DLC content for games like Call of Duty, which was at its height of popularity close to a decade ago. But here we are in the beginning of 2018 with this current console generation of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One almost over, and it's been clear that the PlayStation 4 is the winner. Some people take those comments as, oh, it's just a PlayStation 4 fanboy saying this, but that's actually the furthest from the truth. Most of my time gaming is spent on the Xbox One S, utilizing the backwards compatibility feature and playing games like Red Dead Redemption and Black Ops 1. I want the Xbox brand to be better, and that's why I want to go through what's happened to this console and why things look promising and hopeful for the future. The Xbox One, close to the end of 2017, stood at around 36 million console sales, while the PS4 sits at around 73 million. Now, getting a little bit more specific, within North America, the Xbox One has sold 22 million consoles to the PlayStation 4's 25 million, which is actually pretty good and close, but outside of North America, there is close to no love or interest in this console. In Europe, the Xbox One has sold 9 million consoles to the PlayStation 4's 29 million, and in Japan, the Xbox One sits at 0.09 console sales to the PlayStation 4's 5.81 million. The last time I brought up those numbers, many angry Xbox gamers simply said that there's nothing to worry about, and 30 plus million console sales is still pretty good. While I can somewhat understand that mindset, let me ask you something. Do you actually really think that Microsoft wants to be the eBay to Amazon, or the Target to Walmart, or the NBA Live to NBA 2K, or the Watch Dogs to Grand Theft Auto, or the Sega to Nintendo? The point is, of course not. And when this current console generation began, I'd argue Xbox had all the momentum, but unfortunately has lost it over the last few years. It was only back in 2014 when Xbox themselves boldly claimed, quote-unquote, with the best exclusives, spectacular new franchises, and the best multiplayer community, it's more fun on Xbox One. When Don Maderick, who was a huge part of the Xbox 360 success, left a few months after the Xbox One's reveal in 2013, it almost seems that things have been downhill since. The Xbox One's big problem is the lack of huge first-party exclusive games, and in recent years they have not been putting their attention to that very important thing, concentrating on the entertainment side, hardware, and building the Xbox brand on PC and console, while the PlayStation 4 has continued with heavy-hitting titles yearly. At E3 2017, it was most noticeable with a showcasing that featured some small, great indie games, as well as a few games we've known about that include State of Decay 2, Crackdown 3, and Sea of Thieves, but looking past 2018, there's just so much uncertainty. Obviously, Gears of War 5 and Halo 6 are a given, but new franchises have been a problem for the Xbox One, with the lack of them, and also the mediocre quality that has come with some of the very few released. The PlayStation 4 has thrived in that category, with a plethora of already released and future exclusives, which stretch to various genres for every type of player, which in my opinion is one of the reasons why this generation, PlayStation has dominated. Now, it's important to note that Xbox's current head Phil Spencer has acknowledged these issues, and just a few days ago, Matt Booty became the corporate vice president of Microsoft Studios, replacing Spencer, as he has since been promoted to executive vice president. Phil Spencer, speaking to VentureBeat, had this to say regarding content. "I'm not deaf to the meme out there regarding our content and our need to invest more. Definitely. We're at a point where we're investing more and will continue to do that. When I look at Matt and his responsibility with his team, it's about charting our future in first-party content. I feel like with each one of the leaders we have, there's an existing plan, and I feel good about that plan. But we know that the plan All Up for Studios is expanding. Having Matt's leadership there and navigating the expansion, what bets we make, the teams we bet on, the teams we create is going to be critical. Some of it is with existing leaders we have there, and there are always opportunities to do more with the teams we have, but also as we expand, having a leader in place so new investments can be driven and land in the strategy we have is going to be critical for me. That's really where I look look at Matt's focus, both the existing franchises and equally, if not a little more, thinking about our future content and how that growth happens in a thoughtful way, a way that delivers for our fans. Back at E3 2017, Phil Spencer had given a similar statement in an interview with Waypoint.
But I know people want to see what we're investing in new. And we are investing in new things. We've signed things just recently that I thought about, hey, from a PR standpoint, it'd be really easy for me to go put a trailer on screen, even though I know the game's not coming for 2.5, 3 years.
Right.
I didn't want to do that. And I understand certain people will say, well, hey, that gives me confidence in the future of Xbox. This is kind of a cheesy line, but I'll say, trust that this is important to us as a platform.
And again later in November, speaking to Bloomberg, he had this to say: "We need to grow, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Our ability to go create content has to be one of our strengths. We have not always invested at the same level. We've gone through ups and downs in the investments." Phil Spencer would also go on to add that they are ready to open and purchase development studios to make this a reality. Recently, there has been a very interesting leak spreading around, coming from a somewhat credible source who's leaked Xbox exclusives in the past, in which they claimed that a new Fable game and Perfect Dark game may be in development, among other things. So it does seem that moving forward, the Xbox One and Xbox brand is going to be all about games. Phil Spencer's comments seem to admit that they know this generation first-party games have been a misstep. When Scalebound was cancelled back in late 2016, this was really the moment when people started to get concerned, and those worries have only heightened since. Recently, it was revealed by 343 Industries that the next Halo won't be coming soon, probably pointing to a 2019 release. As many have noted, it's going to take time for Microsoft to have a resurgence with their first-party games, and unfortunately, this console generation is about over. Reportedly, Sony's currently developing the PlayStation 5, and you have to expect that Microsoft is at least starting to get ready for whatever comes after the Xbox One. At this moment, everything points to 2019 or 2020 for the next generation of consoles, which is more than likely why it's so important right now for Microsoft to start getting prepared for the future with games. I personally don't think the Xbox One will ever get close to reaching the PlayStation 4 at this point, but by reviving beloved old franchises, buying and investing in more studios, and pumping out new explosive games more often, the next generation console for Xbox could be more of a competitor to Sony. It's important to know whenever we bring up a subject like this that consoles have never really turned a profit for either Sony or Microsoft. They always serve at a loss. That's why software and games are so important. This is where Sony and Microsoft almost always make their profit. This is why it is so important for games to be the main focus. And moving forward, it does seem like it will be. I would argue that Microsoft has done a phenomenal job with everything except games. And while that cannot be fixed overnight, investing in the future is the key. But also I hope that their investment isn't just in games as a service, which as of late has been a big part of their franchises. Recent reports have indicated that the achievement system will be seeing an overhaul with a new career system, which will have objectives and quests for certain games, with rewards that may come in the form of cosmetic loot crates for the avatars. No matter what, seeing Microsoft lean to this monetization strategy has worried me for a long time, so seeing continuous support has me hopeful that their future includes more diversity for every type of player, because to be honest, as much as I love Halo and Gears of War, it seems like each installment has moved further and further away from its single player story. Phil Spencer's comments in the past has been additionally sketchy on this subject, so moving forward this is something to keep your eye on. But Sony on the other hand, we do know how they feel.
I think in Worldwide Studios we have a lot of energy, a lot of devotion, a lot of love around storytelling, around narrative. You know, some people call that single player gaming. We do have most of our eggs in that basket, just because that's the thing we do well, I think. In my humble opinion, IMHO. And I don't want to go to any of those teams and tell them, you know, I read in a magazine that there's something called games as a service, make me one of those. I don't want to be that guy. So that's what we do. We do Horizon, we do God of War, we do Detroit, Uncharted, The Last of Us. These are the things we're going to continue to, lean into really strong.
Games as a service is something that can work, and some developers have done a good job with it, while others have grabbed national headlines with their predatory nature of utilizing it. But again, in this case, Microsoft needs to and hopefully will steer away from this a bit. The point of this whole video is that Microsoft has got themselves into a rocky position, but there is a bright future ahead, as long as they concentrate on games, and more games, and also pro-consumer games. Nothing I've been saying is meant to come off as a the PlayStation 4 is doing better. It's more of Microsoft has had its eyes on other things when it should have been doubling down on first-party games. Certainly it seems the word exclusive has to be used loosely now, at least with Xbox, as it seems all of their games are on PC as well. But I'll finish this video by saying my hope is that in 2 to 3 years we see some exciting brand new IPs come to light for the Xbox One or maybe Xbox 2. I guess if that's what it's called. PlayStation and Nintendo have done a phenomenal job with their story-driven and open-world games recently, and I have to believe there are some amazing creative people at Microsoft to make the next big franchises. As great as Halo and Gears of War are, I think eventually the torch is going to have to be passed. And as a gamer, that excites me because it was only about 5 years ago a little game called The Last of Us released and became the face of PlayStation. I deep down believe that eventually, in due course, something similar is going to happen for Xbox. Anyway guys, what do you make of Xbox One's future and the Xbox brand overall? Let me know in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to like the video if you did enjoy or found any informative value. Follow me on Twitter for all the latest gaming news and updates, and also consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.